But we're getting rid of the car. No. I did. Yeah. No, because the actor who was in my class. Oh, yeah? Nick. Yeah, so he was performing. Yeah, in my class. No. And he's like, oh, like,
Welcome to UCR's Department of Theater, Film, and Digital Production. In the spirit of Rupert and Jeanette Costo's founding relationship to our campus, we would like to respectfully acknowledge and recognize our responsibility to the original and current caretakers of this land, water, and air, the Cahuilla, Tonga, Luiseño, and Serrano peoples, and all of their ancestors and descendants, past, present, and future. We are grateful to have the opportunity to live, work, and create on these beautiful homelands. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second night of Playworks 2025. My name is Erith Jaffe-Berg. I'm a faculty member here in the Department of Theater, Film, and Digital Production, and I'm also the artistic director of Playworks. And tonight we premiere new works, 7 new works by students in our MFA program. And last night we premiered 9 new works by students in our undergraduate program. Every night, Playworks is a major collaboration, so I want to just make note of the faculty members who gave of their time, talents, and energies to direct tonight's showcase. I'd like to thank Professor Rickerby Hinds, Professor Robin Russin, Professor Kimberly Guerrero, Professor Paige Goodwin, Professor Joshua Malkin, Professor Stu Krieger, and our MFA student, Melizza Minger Urquilla, who also directed tonight. So a hand. Last night and tonight we were bolstered by a group of students who gave their energies to this by being part of a student production team. So I want to highlight our stage manager, Laura Blackwell, our assistant stage managers, Jeremy Gutierrez and Ren Nguyen. Guided by a terrific professional staff team here, production team led by our artistic director for the performing arts, Ben Tusher, and our assistant production manager, Johnny Macias, both of whom are alums of our program. Technical director Sarah Shatmeyer helps us with our beautiful lighting, and Max Calzada and our student videography team make sure that we have a lovely live stream event. And I was told yesterday that the Goodwin family, this is their 6th year, being part of the live stream from all the way out in Washington, D.C., so hi, Goodwin. I want to remind everybody that we'll have a 15-minute intermission, and at the end of tonight's program, we'll be also led in a response and conversation with a responder who I'll introduce to you later. At this point, please make note of the emergency exits on either side of you, silence your cell phones, and enjoy the show.
PG-13, written by Gabby Chavez, directed by Paige Goodwin. Setting, a preteen's bedroom. Posters everywhere. A bed with stuffed animals and a laptop lies in the center.
Okay, she's gone. 90%? Come on, Crowbook, don't fail me now.
Mi amor, I can't keep hiding like this. I need the world to know how much I care for you.
She can't find out, especially after last time.
But amor, my love burns for you more than 1,000 suns.
I can't get grounded again. That week without you was like prison. Like HE double hockey sticks. Bad. Plus, my followers got so mad.
We could run away from all of this. Just say the word and we could be free.
What about school? I haven't even made it to 9th grade yet.
I don't know a lot of things, but I do know how I feel towards you, my blossom. Your eyes twinkle like the ocean, and your mouth
Whispers every secret to the universe. I know, but she might hear you.
I cannot quiet my affection, my honey bun. I want our bodies to... I don't know. Something with the birds and the bees.
Oh, Claudio, you always know what to say. I wish things didn't have to be like this.
Janet, it's almost time for dinner.
Okay, Mom. I'll be there in a sec. Just gotta finish this last chapter.
You hold all the power, my beautiful Janet. Just type the word on your magical rectangle, and we could leave this place. Can't my luscious locks convince you?
I can't just...
And what about this?
You're very convincing.
Young lady.
Okay, Mom. Claudio, I have to go.
Please, Angel. I can't go back under the bed. It's dusty, and cat fur keeps getting in my mouth. I start coughing up fur balls. There's one now.
I promise. I'll be back soon.
Please, my dearest, at least one kiss.
Okay.
Janet, what could you possibly be doing?
Hey, I was just finishing up some homework. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this essay on personal heroes is taking a lot longer than I thought it would.
Interesting. Maybe if you put more energy into your schoolwork instead of that smut you write, maybe you wouldn't have such a difficult time. Wait, you're not writing your essay on that guy for his stories, right? What's his name? Claudio?
No. It's not about him.
Joseph.
Well, I better get back to it. You know, we don't want to fall behind. Mm-hmm.
Well, finish up and head down. Won't want your food to get cold.
Come on. Why are you so ashamed of me?
I'm not. She just doesn't think my writing is age appropriate.
Age appropriate? What we have is more than appropriate. Just because she doesn't have love in her life doesn't mean we all must suffer.
What if she has a point?
She's trying to stifle your creativity, holding you back from becoming the world's next best-selling authoress.
What I write isn't even that good. People at school are starting to make fun of me.
How dare they say such awful things about you, my beautiful Janet?
You okay up there?
Yeah, just dropped my book. Quiet.
How could I, when people are hurting my Janet? They will all come to an end, or my name is Claudio Edward Styles Rivera!
You're gonna end up in my mom's closet if you keep talking like that.
Please, dearest, we can get away from all of this. We could marry and cure the world with our love and
What is all that noise? I thought you were getting your essay. Janet Marie! Is that seriously school Chromebook?
No?
Young lady, you can't keep taking the school's property to write your smut.
It's not smut, it's romance.
Oh, I don't care what it is. You're too young to even know what romance is. I'm getting you that right now.
No, please, I promise I'll use it just for school.
Oh, you've already had plenty of chances to use it just for school. Now hand it over. Run away? Birds and bees? Oh, this Claudio is quite the manipulator.
Hey!
Janet, you can't be writing these kinds of things. It's not age appropriate.
But I'm 12 3/4, which means I'm basically a teenager and practically an adult.
If you truly think that, then you're grounded for a month.
A month?
You heard me.
I can't believe. Claudio? Claudio? Oh, shoot, where'd I put my pen?
A manipulator? She called me a manipulator?
Ugh, she can't do this.
She reduced me to Wattpad smut. I am a Wattpad gentleman. I am a Wattpad gentleman for her information.
She doesn't even know how many followers I have on Wattpad.
82.
I have an audience that I need to keep up with. They need consistent updates.
I'm telling you, Lamar, she has no respect for your genius.
You're right, but she can't make me stop. What if I wrote here at home? Then I could go to the library and type it up after school.
You're incredible, my love. You are the most smartest girl I've ever known.
Wait, the library is like 1,000,000 miles away. How am I supposed to get there?
Maybe you can ask your mom to drive you.
No, she's gonna know what's up.
Maybe you can try using your smaller magical rectangle thingy.
Parental block.
She is merciless!
Writing is the one thing that makes me feel good about myself. Why is that so bad? Just because I add kissing and abs to my characters?
It's not bad. She just does not appreciate your artistry. Or my abs.
She doesn't. My 82 followers need me.
Yes, they need your voice.
I'm tired of hiding you, my writing, and myself. I'm ready to fight back.
How brave of you, mi amor. I shall stand by your side. No one shall ever come between us ever again.
Janet, are you ready to calm down?
Claudio, are you ready to be set free?
Since forever, my dear.
Janet, don't make me go to you.
Man the battle stations, pavers, stuffed animals, anything you find.
Janet!
Quick!
I should not have to
Fire!
What are you doing? Ow! Stop it! Janet, what are you doing? Young lady, I swear! Where are
I'm
you
almost
going?
out.
Take her!
Me too!
Janet!
What do we do?
Janet!
I don't know.
Janet!
You should. You need to write me smarter.
Janet! You done? I was being generous with the month, but this stunt has earned you an extra 5.
What? No!
If you want to be treated like an adult, then you can face the consequences like one.
Ugh! I hate you! Just because you don't have any love in your life doesn't mean everyone else has to suffer. Dad would have liked my writing.
Oh, please don't cry, my love. I hate to see you in tears.
I just wanted a happy ending.
You monster!
Janet, please. It's just not
Age appropriate. I know. You keep saying that.
You had to go through a lot with your dad. I don't want you to feel forced to grow up. How's your essay coming along? My personal hero is my dad. He was someone who always knew how to make me smile, even when I was really, really sad. He liked romance books, which my mom thought was weird. But he liked them because they always ended happily. He's my hero because he showed me that I could write anything and make the world look however I wanted. I could always make the ending happy, even if real life wasn't.
I miss him.
I miss him too. Okay, I won't ground you.
Really?
Yes, but you still can need the school Chromebooks for Wattpad. I wrote too many parent-teacher conferences about it.
I promise.
Who knows? Maybe the next Stephanie Meyer.
The end! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Glowup, written by Melizza Minger Urquilla, directed by Kimberly Guerrero. Mara and Jessica are at the gym. Jessica wears matching patterned sports bra leggings outfit and is doing the moves with good form and on beat. She's leading Mara on a workout. Mara is wearing ratty leggings and an oversized shirt. She's struggling to keep up.
Just one more set of squats and then a jog around the block to keep your heart rate up. Come on, you're doing great.
That's objectively not true.
Remember to breathe. After this, we can check out some new apartment listings. If we go half in, we can get a pretty nice place. You need to figure out your long-term living situation. The futon is not good for your back. What are you holding out for?
Just keeping my options open.
I'm taking the lat. Finish up your squats and follow.
4, 5, 9, 10.
What's wrong?
I just saw my ex-boyfriend.
Did you say anything?
No, I panicked. I turned around and ran back inside. Now everyone in the gym thinks I'm a quitter.
I don't think anyone cares that much.
I care.
That's good. It shows commitment. So you didn't wave or anything?
No, because I was sweaty and limping and looked awful, and he was wearing normal people clothes like a normal person.
I thought you were over him.
I am so over him. Please don't make me go back out there.
I thought you wanted to commit to the gym thing.
Not that bad.
But you're on this whole healing journey. I think the ability to push through the workout in spite of him being there shows that you're prioritizing yourself, regardless of what he thinks.
I'm not doing this to heal. I'm doing it to get hot so he regrets leaving me.
I thought you didn't want to get back together.
I don't.
Then why do you care what he thinks?
That's what people do. That's how you win the breakup.
Trying to win a breakup feels like a losing play.
You think I'm losing the breakup?
That depends. Did he look like he was doing well?
Not at all. He looked like shit.
So you won, because you're getting in shape now.
No, that doesn't actually mean anything. Who cares what he looks like on a random Monday? What if he's actually gotten a promotion? And now he's dating like a rocket or something.
That feels unlikely.
I know, it sounds like a double standard, but if you want to win a breakup, you have to win it in a way the other person would consider it a win. Otherwise, they might think they've won, and moral victories aren't satisfying.
What's he even doing in the city? I thought he moved and got a fancy corporate job when he dumped you.
Yeah, but his mom still lives here. He's probably visiting.
On a Monday?
That is weird.
He doesn't even have a car. How did he get here?
Uber?
45 minutes on a Monday night.
Listen, I don't know why he does the things he does.
It's just a little weird. Maybe he had a nervous breakdown, quit his job, and moved back in with his mother.
Again? No, he was doing great when I last saw him.
Was he? I got the impression he was always just hanging on by a thread, mental health wise. That's why you worked so well together.
What do you mean? I'm doing great.
You're hiding from a man in a room full of sweaty people.
I'm going on a holistic journey. I'm healing my body and my mind. It's the ideal thing to do after a breakup.
You really believe that?
Yes!
Good.
What is he doing here? What are you doing here?
I'm going on a fitness journey.
No, that's what I'm doing. Go find your own thing.
Look, the recent breakup, it hit me hard. I feel lost without my person.
Really?
Yes, I mean, I would do anything for just another chance.
Good, because
No time for talking, got reps to do.
What are you doing? Everything was going perfect.
You said you didn't want him back.
That's what people do when they're losing a breakup. They lie. You were saying?
I'm gonna turn my whole life around.
Yes.
Yes, I'm gonna be the person worthy of that relationship.
Yes.
See, I'm gonna tell her I'm nothing without her.
Yes.
See, ever since I saw her on stage at the Radio City Music Hall, I knew she was the only woman for me.
No!
I think he's dead.
Do you know what that means?
We get to be roommates in jail. I won the breakup! End of play.
The Packages by Maya Salem, directed by Melizza Minger Urquilla. Setting, 2-story apartment building, atemporal, but in a post-Jeopardy world. No, I need her signature.
I can take it upstairs to her. She's a little old lady.
I've never seen you before. I need her signature.
I can do it. It's just one little package.
How would that work? I don't know you.
Fine. I'll go get her. Hi, ma'am. There's a package for you downstairs.
Honey, I cannot reach the peephole. I cannot hear you.
It's your downstairs neighbor.
Oh, do come in. Come in, come in. Can I get you a Diet Coke? Ice or no ice? Do you watch Jeopardy? Sit down. Tell me about yourself. And you don't have to shout. I can hear just fine.
Is this an interview?
Oh, why have you yet to come and introduce yourself? Is that just something these people these days don't do? I never know with you young things.
Well, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. Big trees, big fires. My parents were hermits. It got to a point where they didn't really trust anyone outside their home. The two of them became their own little unit. I finished school a little while ago, didn't have a home to come back to, so I moved in last week. But the reason I came up
You
here
don't have any family left.
I didn't quite say that. I don't know. Anyway, there's a delivery.
I've lived here many years. Many years. But your unit full of young things, always coming and going, they don't last more than a few months. The longest was a year, I think.
Why do they leave? It's not haunted, is it? I hope I'm not the next victim.
Oh, one reason or another, they're not all as kind as you, offering to help an old woman with her chores. Up and down those stairs all day, no elevator in sight.
Right. If you don't mind me asking, why haven't you moved into the ground floor unit if it's always open?
Oh, it's warm. Heat rises, you know. I'll probably die here. Oh, and the morning light is good.
Right. Well, the reason I came up here was actually to let you know about the delivery person downstairs. They've got a package for you. I offered to bring it up.
Damn UPS! We're in this charade every day. I say leave the packages. I'll collect them on my own time. They say I have to fetch them.
I offered.
They want my signature. Some law. Something about once mail arrives at your address, only then does it become your property, and signing is for proof of said delivery and therefore ownership. But it really doesn't matter who signs. Alas, bureaucracy. Let's go down there and give them a piece of my mind.
Good afternoon, miss. Your...
She will sign for me. She will deliver my packages. Come, dear. Looks like we've struck gold with our delivery person today.
That's it?
Have a nice one.
Go on, open the door. It's unlocked, I trust you.
Where do you want this?
Come on, finish your Diet Coke.
Oh, I couldn't. I've had a lot to drink today. And I have to get to work this evening.
It's a Diet Coke. I doubt it'll kill you. Come, sit. We can watch Jeopardy.
Sorry, I just have to go. I'll see you when your next package is delivered. I'll get it!
Oh, thanks, dear. Do you want to come in?
I have to get to an appointment. Sorry. Sorry, I'm getting it.
Thanks. Can I offer you a Diet Coke?
No, thank you. Not today.
Ah, someone learned how to say no. Jeopardy should be good tonight. Battle of the decades.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, come on in.
Oh, I can't. I didn't lock my door. It'll only take a moment. What are all these packages? They come at the same time every day. It's kind of strange.
You'll never guess.
Oh, I don't know if I can. I don't know that much about you.
They're from Alex Trebek.
Of course.
I was on Jeopardy some 40 years ago.
Oh.
And I won a lifetime supply. They deliver it every day.
Of what? Oh, that's what I'm supposed to guess?
Back so soon. Were you able to guess?
No, not yet. I seem to have misplaced my large stock pot, actually. I couldn't find it in any of my boxes. It's my mom.
You still haven't finished unpacking? What in God's name are you up to down there? It's been, what, 3 weeks?
I know. Would I be able to borrow one of yours?
Oh, of course, honey. All you gotta do is ask. You needn't sound so scared. Thank you, dearie. You working tonight?
No, actually, I have a surprise for you. Let me go grab it.
Oh, no! Oh, little lady, you already do enough for me.
Well, it was...
I wouldn't deserve it!
Well, it was something you mentioned the other day while we were watching Jeopardy. You've been so kind to me, and I just wanted to get something to help you.
Downstairs at apartment 1A, the door is ajar. One downstairs pushes it open, soundlessly. Delivery person is in her apartment, his back to her. He holds a list in his hand and is filling a cardboard box. No, a package with glassware. He closes the box and tapes it shut. Woman downstairs freezes, her hand over her mouth. She backs up. She slowly climbs backwards up the stairs as soundlessly as possible.
Oh, you're back! Tell me, what's the surprise?
That's not how surprises work. Jeopardy? Maybe I'll finally be able to guess what's in those packages.
What? Right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be Alex Trebek's toupee. Do you mind if I rest my feet on this? Heavy. Must be some lifetime supply. You know, you're right. I don't think I'll ever guess what's in these.
What is it?
Oh, you don't know?
It's different every day.
It's a stock pot. Yeah, lifetime supply of stock pots would be pretty strange.
Oh, using questions as answers?
Is it all kitchenware? Seems like a sturdy pot. Maybe I should get one. It's property of...
Don't!
Curious.
What?
I didn't know you had the same name as my mother. You spell it the same way, too. How did I not know this?
Well, we're only just getting to know each other.
Yes, we are. And I've learned something new about myself today. I'm living below a thief.
This is not how I planned. You
what? Why did you do this?
How
could you do this?
Well, you guys always fall for it. Also,
who the hell puts their name on a stock pot? They all left. I was your next victim. What did you steal from them? Where are they? Are they okay?
This face didn't make it through life by following the rules. This skin is weathered. To you guys, that's a call for help. We all confuse helping with trusting. I can't help but take advantage.
Can't help it? It's just in your nature? What do you mean? You don't need my stuff.
It's not yours. It was delivered to me. You delivered it to me. It's my property.
I'm calling the cops.
No.
I'm leaving.
Honey, to the woods? To your parents? Let's see. What is hermit in the woods? What is disowned? Come, sit. I'll listen. The rest of your stuff will be here eventually. Our stuff. Our home. We can watch Jeopardy.
End of play.
Spooning, written by Artur Pereira.
A bedroom. Martinez sits on a bed in silence. I knock at the door. Martinez rushes to open it. I'm wearing a suit and tie, carrying a suitcase. Excuse me, is this the residence of one Martinez Mick?
Yes it is. Please, come on in.
My name is Gazelle Mungib from spooning.com. You contacted us in regards to a full spooning experience. Am I correct?
Yes.
Well, very well. Should we get right to it then? Is there a space where you would be more comfortable?
We don't have to rush for it. I believe I paid for the full hour.
Oh, I do apologize. You have indeed. It is not usual that our assignments are timed.
Well, I wouldn't pay that much if it wasn't for a full experience.
Oh, so you are doing both sides?
Well, I didn't think about it. Maybe we could do one and then we see how we feel about it. Would you like some tea before we get to it?
If you have any, Earl, that would be lovely. Thank you. And where should I...
You can sit on the bed.
Thank you.
So, how long have you been doing this?
20 years.
20 years?
My father used to be a big spooner, and I inherited his passions, per se.
Wow. So you must be really good at it.
Yes! Yes, I am. I do apologize, but are you the only one here?
Yes, I am. Don't worry, no one will be watching us.
So I will only be spooning you today, correct?
Yes. Sorry, how many people do you usually spoon?
You did pay for the hour, so I was expecting at least a dozen.
A dozen? Well, how many people do you usually spoon at a time?
I only spoon one at a time, but it won't take me more than 2 minutes per person, even if I was going to do both sides.
You don't like it? You don't like to hold it for longer?
As I said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I usually hit about 30 spoons a night.
Oh. I don't think I could get anything out of it in 2 minutes.
Well, I'm sure you're not as proficient as I am with the spoon. insult you. I'm sure you would be great at spooning.
No. I'm not. I haven't spooned that often in my life. I found it quite hard to find someone to spoon with, actually. So that's the reason I contacted you.
Do you wish for a tutorial on spooning? A walkthrough?
No, it's more of a willing participant issue. No one to spoon rather than quality of spooning.
Well, if you wish to spoon someone, I'm sure we could find you a place on the company. You would be surprised by how many people request spooning.
No, I don't think I could do it if it wasn't. If I don't have a connection with the person.
But you requested me.
Yes, I did.
Well, when you're ready to get started, let me know.
Okay. We can. Do you need a change?
No, I'm fine.
Is that suit comfortable for spooning with?
It's company policy. It wouldn't be my first choice, but...
Okay then, let me just change my shirt.
Would you have a small table or chair where I could set my suitcase?
Sure, you can pull up that chair.
Oh, thank you. I set up the chair next to the bed and the suitcase on top of it. I pull out a pair of surgical gloves and a mask.
What's all that for?
It's company policy.
What?
It's company policy. It prevents the spread of diseases.
Oh. Okay.
I apologize. I didn't mean to imply that you had any diseases.
No, it's...
I just mean that when you have been spooning for as long as I have, you tend to get a lot of clients that have fluid problems.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
So, it's company policy to use full protective equipment.
Oh, I'm sorry, I understand.
It makes you uncomfortable?
No, that's not it.
It feels very surgical, I can see that, but don't worry. You'll barely notice it when we get to the spooning.
I didn't mean to push against your policies. None of that. It's just that I hoped it would feel more organic, more intimate.
Intimate?
Like I said, I haven't had much success finding a partner, so I kind of wish this would try and fill that lack of intimacy.
You wish for intimacy in your spooning?
Again, I don't want to push you. I know this is your job and all.
No, I can. I can see how that might help.
It's just very lonely.
Yes, life often is. Do you wish to converse? Before? If it makes you feel more comfortable, that is. We do have the full hour, and it won't take that long in the spooning itself.
No, I don't want to.
Not at all? What do you wish to converse about?
I don't know. Where do you work?
Spooning.com.
Of course you do.
No, it's fine. Where do you work?
I work at Valspar. I'm a paint watcher.
A paint watcher?
Yes.
You watch paint?
Yes, to see how long they take to dry.
And you wish to be spooned?
Yes.
I don't mean to imply that spooning might not be for someone like you.
No.
I just find it strange that a man who watches for a living would like to be spooned.
It's not the best paint. I can say that. It's very solitary work, but I do get my own personal office with a new fresh coat of paint every week.
Do you have a preferred color?
It's not like I can choose. I mean, do you have a preferred spoon?
Yes!
Oh.
No, I get what you say. Yes. So, should we get to the spooning then?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
Do you wish for the bigger spoon or the smaller spoon?
Oh. I'll be the small spoon, so you're the big spoon.
What?
You spoon me. Big spoon.
Big spoon! Okay! Left or right?
To the right. All right, I'll set a timer halfway, and then we can see if we do the other one as well.
I don't think it'll be that long. I grab Martinez by the chin, and in one quick motion, scoop his right eye out with the spoon.
What the fuck?
There we go. Do you wish for the other eye as well?
What the fuck? Get the fuck away from me!
Alrighty then. Do you wish to keep it?
My fucking eye! My fucking eye!
Very well then, I'll leave it on the table.
My eye!
Farewell, Mr. Mick. Don't forget to rate your experience on spooning.com.
And to play!
HONEYMORGUE by Emma Winiarski. Michael and Stacy are seated next to each other in cramped cockpit of model spaceship. Hot Dog is seated next inches away from them. They are all wearing big, heavy spacesuits. Hey, campers! My name is Brent, aka Hot Dog, and I'll be your lunar landing simulation evaluator this afternoon. Now, from my understanding, you've been working with my colleague Ron. Unfortunately, Ron has come down with a little bit of a stomach infection, poultry poisoning. You didn't hear from me, but I stood clear of the chicken and waffles in the Academy of Space Sciences cafeteria.
A little too late for that, I'm afraid.
Oh, no, sorry, are you feeling ill?
No, I'm just pulling your leg. I didn't even eat breakfast this morning.
Embarrassing. Well, how is Ron? Will he be okay?
Oh, Ron will be just fine. Enough about him.
But he has food poisoning.
Have no fear, Hot Dog is here!
Right. You know, I'm just wondering, is it really appropriate to continue with the evaluation given the circumstances?
You want your adult Academy of Aerospace Sciences graduation, no?
More than anything.
And for you, miss?
Mrs.
My apologies, Abby.
You're fine. It's not a big deal.
She's joking. Of course it's a big deal. It's our freaking honeymoon.
Hot diggity dog, isn't that wonderful?
Isn't it? Taking my honey to the moon.
Can you stop that?
Being romantic.
Not here.
I'm not interrupting anything, am I? You sly dog!
I'm feeling hot.
Yeah, you are.
Brent, is there any air in here?
It's Hot Dog. Not really.
Not really? What do you mean, not really?
Well, the lunar landing simulator at Aerospace, the Academy of Aerospace, was originally built for and intended for to be used by children.
Space Academy of Aerospace? I thought this was the Academy of Aerospace Sciences.
Well, we go by many names. Anyways, aerospace quarters tend to be small, poorly ventilated structures. How can I equate this? Well, I guess it's comparable to a hearse, or actually it's been smaller than a hearse if you're measuring by square feet. You know, it's funny, but then getting all that space when the people deliver space get no space, get space at all. Anyways, if the heat's a problem, we can always reschedule your evaluation for a later.
No!
You sure?
We've already come so far.
I can't do this again.
Was that honey?
Nothing. I'm just a little hot. Could we open this window?
We could.
Great.
But they will all die.
What?
Asexual death? We're supposed to be in space, silly!
Yes, come on.
If we don't open a window, I'm going to asphyxiate for real.
Please don't embarrass me. Please.
Ron let us keep the window open.
That was during your training.
Ron said we performed perfectly on our practice evaluation.
Ron is currently incapacitated.
I thought you said he was fine.
Ring, ring.
Brent.
Hot Dog. 1 second, sorry.
Michael, stop it. I need air.
Hello? Hamburger? Is this you?
Stacey, please, it needs to be authentic. You know how much this means to me. I dreamed of this since I was a boy.
And I dreamed of going to Fiji after we got married.
Okay, well, I dreamed of this before I dreamed of you.
Wow. How romantic, Michael. Thank you for that.
I was trying to take you to the moon. What could possibly be more romantic than the moon?
Well, we're not on the moon, Michael. We're in some weird small business inside a freaking strip mall.
Well then, sorry, Stacy. God, I am so sorry I assumed you'd enjoy a grand gesture of love. How wrong of me to assume.
It doesn't have to be big, Michael. When you said you wanted to go to the moon, I thought you meant something like a picnic under the stars or a night at the observatory. That would have been 1,000,000 times better than whatever this is. God, it won't open. I feel sick.
Be patient, Hamburger. I'm working on it.
Oh God, Stacy, what is it now? We've been married 2 days and I already make you cry. Quick, someone hand me the World's Worst Husband Award. That's me, everybody. World's Worst Husband. Oh my God, Stacy! Stacy! Hot dog, help!
Dog, this she asphyxiate.
What? No, of course not. Why would you ask that?
Well, it's interesting. You see, crying actually increases the risk of asphyxiation. It reduces oxygen levels. It's kind of funny. Because crying is thought to be some kind of release, rather that it's from stress or sadness or, heck, just about anything, really. But more often than not, it's just our tears are slowly choking us from the inside.
You think she asphyxiated?
Yes. Please don't cry, Michael. I can assure you crying will only worsen your own chance of survival.
Hot dog. You're not a real spaceman, are you?
I still work at a morgue.
Oh, so this is just
a side hustle. Yeah.
Why?
Same reason anyone has a side hustle, really.
Stacy, please, honey, wake up. Wake up, wake up.
I wouldn't wish your presence here, sir. We can do a beautiful funeral package.
Why couldn't I just open the window? What's wrong with you? Oh God. Oh God.
Hello? Hello, Hamburger? I've got 2 bodies. Lights out, the end.
Quotas, written by Benj Austin, directed by Joshua Malkin. Scene 1, 1980s, Hail of Settlement. A plain room with a large desk and a chair on either side. The Cossack and Idzik sit across from each other, the former appearing to loom over the small Jew.
Sir, please, I sit here before you, Idzik, a humble man of 16 from the town of... All my adult years, nay, all my life, I have dreamed of this job. I've dreamed of being able to afford once again to make my wife, Frunke, Ruhel, the zaptic she was in her
That's
youth.
quite enough.
All I'm trying to say is that I have dreamed all my life of being a shit shoveler.
I said enough.
Sorry.
Silence.
Sorry.
Silent.
Sorry.
Enough. The Cossack lifts a file from the desk and pursues the pages. He squints, inspects, and does a whole show of looking through the writing, all held upside down. Obviously, you can read and write.
Yes, one's not much use without the other. Most of us in Shittle are able to. It's so we can...
Overqualified. The Cossack tosses the pages behind him. Now, have you had much shit-shoveling experience?
No, but I really am quite eager to learn.
Shame. We're preferably looking for someone with shit-shoveling experience. Not to worry at all, my dumb, sorry, dear little yiddle. All you need is a reference. Do you happen to have a reference? Preferably someone with their own shit-shoveling experience. Someone who could vouch for your innate abilities. It really is a tough world out there. Crappy, one might say. He looks at the discarded papers on the floor.
Yes, they were in the file.
No, they weren't.
No, actually, I'm quite sure they were in there, right in the middle of the file, I believe. It's the part with the most writing on it. Lots to read. You probably just skimmed at it as one does.
As I said, I didn't see any reference. Itzik and the Cossack stare across the table at each other, neither willing to call the other's bluff. Well, unless there's anything else, that will be all for the interview section of the Shit Shoveler application. It's only fair to tell you that I think we'll be exploring other options.
Do you know how depressing it is to live a life able to read but unable to work? To read and dream of exotic places? To travel to? Have you heard of Berlin? But never to be able to reach them, Mr. Kozak. Can I call you Mr. Kozak? I lied earlier when I said my dream has always been to shovel shit. That's not true. My dream has always been to shovel shit so that my children won't have to. I want to shovel shit so that they can carry milk. And maybe, who knows, my grandkids could possibly just maybe own a store?
Jews! Preposterous!
Indeed, Mr. Kozak. But that is why I want to be a professional shit shoveler. To climb the ladder. I will start with all the other shit shovelers up on the bottom, but I'll prove my worth rising through the ranks. Pig shit, sheep shit, donkey shit, and eventually the crown jewel of them all, cow shit. One day, I will shovel cow shit, and all my friends will say, I knew Isaac from before. Would you believe he once shoveled pig shit?
Bullshit.
Emir Tashem, God willing. But first, I must shovel the pig shit, so please, Mr. Kozak, let me shovel the pig shit so my son can dream of better things.
No way you can shovel shit unless you have shit shoveling experience.
But that's impossible. I'd be the first Jew to shovel shit in all of the Pale of Settlement.
Now you're getting it. Scene 2, 1940s, New York. Similar room is set up as before, but much nicer, now filled with books, cigars, decanters, and other white upper-class paraphernalia. Isaac sits across from the Wasp. So, Mr. Treftelstein.
Please, sir, call me Isaac.
Treftelstein. That's an interesting name. Is it Laotian?
No. We got it. It's really just a family name.
Where are you from, Treftelstein?
Brooklyn, Bedford.
And before that?
Carnacy.
How tall would you say you are, Treftelstein?
Oh, just about 72 inches or so.
You say you're 6 feet? I've never met a Treftelstein who's 6 feet before. Stand up, son, let me see you.
I really don't know what this has to do with my application to Yale.
Well, our demographics have become quite skewed as of late. In an attempt at evening the playing field, we're implementing what we here at New Haven have termed a holistic approach.
Evening the playing field?
Well, you know, academic prowess really isn't a great indicator for success academically. It's become quite an issue on campus.
I'm sorry. I'm not entirely sure I'm following you, sir.
Never mind. You do look much shorter than 6 feet sitting down.
That's how legs work. You wouldn't believe how short I look laying down.
So I see you have 2 alumni as your references. Very nice. The WASP lifts 2 papers from Isaac's file and reads them. Trying to pull a fast one on us, I see.
I'm sorry, sir?
Well, it appears that your 2 references violate the application rules. I'm sorry.
How did I break the rules?
It appears your references are relatives of yours. Treftelstein can't write a reference for another Treftelstein.
I don't have family to write a reference for me. Arthur Goldberg and Mort Blatt wrote them for me.
Goldberg, Treftelstein, what's the difference? A yid is a yid is a yid.
Please, sir, I promise I have no family who wrote me those letters. I'm just hoping to build a better life. You asked me where Treftelstein derives from. It comes from Europe, the Pale of Settlement. I think today it would be considered Ukraine. It means shit shoveler, and it was my grandfather's dream to do that, to build a better future for his family. It's my dream to go to Yale to build a better future for my family. An Italian immigrant can go back to Italy, and an Irish one to Ireland, but where does the Jew return to in times of trouble? We flee our countries without a passport. Should I return to Odessa and ask the murderers of my grandparents if I may please return? Might they have reconsidered their position on Jews?
I'm sorry, Treftelstein, but no means no. We already have too many Treftelsteins to begin with. The summer hotel, bankrupted by admitting Jews, met its fate not because they drove away all the good Gentile customers, but because after they all left, the Jews no longer had a reason to go, and they left too. We predate the land you sit on and the air you breathe. Yale has a reputation to protect, Mr. Treftelstein, and your likes are a weed choking the sacred ivory of our fine establishment.
Everyone else comes to this land of opportunity, Erith Shalav Udvash, for a better life. My family came here for a chance at any life at all.
Living and thriving is not the same, Treftelstein. Scene 3, 2024, New Haven. Classroom. The student and Zach sit in desks facing each other. So, Zach Chafferty, why do you want to be a member of Yale's Pre-Med Society?
Well, for as long as I can remember, I've wanted to save lives. When I was real little, my dream was to be a firefighter. Running into burning buildings to save entire families, but obviously that wasn't going to happen. So I figured, why not be a doctor? Plus, it would make my parents proud. Jewish stereotype and all, you know?
You're Jewish?
Yeah.
Oh. I see here that there's a 1-year gap in your resume between high school and starting here at Yale. What's up with that?
Oh, just editing my resume, you know, between drafts.
Yeah, but why the gap, bro?
I took a year off to study internationally.
Super cool. I'd love to hear more about that sometime. So, would you say you're, like, really Jewish?
Both my parents are, if that's what you're asking.
That's not, but interesting. Zach, I've got to be terribly honest with you. We here at the Yale Pre-Med Society have had a really difficult last couple of months, really since last October. I'm sure you understand.
I'm not really sure I do.
It's really quite simple.
I don't think it is.
There are a finite amount of spots in the society, and we want to make sure they're all allocated correctly.
Is this because I'm Jewish?
No, not at all. That's crazy, please. Although you did admit that there are an awful lot of Jewish doctors, and we are trying to advance people of other backgrounds.
My dad's a plumber.
Well, I just mean hypothetically, in a general sense. Are you a Zionist?
I'm sorry?
Do you think that Israel is committing a Holocaust in Gaza as we speak?
I just want to be a doctor, man.
No, this is more about than just being a doctor. It's about caring about what's happening in Palestine as we speak. It's about having the decency to want an end to the relentless murder of children. Are you a Zionist?
I already said that I don't want anyone to die. That's why I want to be a doctor. All I want is to save people. I stand here before you, Zach Chafferty, but that's not my real name. My full name is Isaac, for my great-grandfather who changed his name after being rejected from Yale for being too Jewish. Breftelstein became Chafferty in an attempt to blend in. He was ashamed of his name the same way Isaac became Zach. It's easier to blend in. Kreftelstein used to be a shit shoveler and proud, but my ancestors didn't shovel shit for the love of the game, but so that one day I wouldn't have to. Answering ridiculous interview questions so that one day I wouldn't have to. But now here I am, shoveling shit all these generations later, and for what? So that my children can hope and dream that one day their children won't have to?
Did you say something? I'm sorry, I didn't catch most of that. But would you say you're a good Jew? We only have so much room in the club.
Good Jews?
Good Jews. Anti-Zionist Jews, those who support the Al-Aqsa flood.
Almost half the world's Jewish population live in Israel, including most of my family. What about them? Not to be rude or anything, but to be honest, you're starting to maybe sound like a little bit like an anti-Semite or something.
Wow, way to go throwing that word around. A little bit of an escalation, TBH. You Zionists and your name calling. I'm just trying to have a conversation in good faith, and you had to go and shut it down. And just so you know, I have a ton, like a good handful of friends who are Jews. Some who are in this very club.
I wasn't. It doesn't matter that you have Jewish friends.
And actually, I'm Jewish too.
You're Jewish too.
You calling me a liar?
No, I've never seen you at Halal or Shabbat or anything.
I actually took a 23andMe. I'm 3% Jewish.
Mazel tov.
I'm also a 0.5% Maori, so I know what it's like for indigenous people to have their land stolen.
You know what? Actually, I'm fine. Maybe I'll just go. It's probably better that I'm not in a club like this.
Good. Go back to Poland with the rest of you Zionists.
That one might have crossed the line.
Calm down, calm down. No need to overreact. I'm anti-Zionist, not anti-Semitic. End.
And at this point, usually Johnny says we're going to have a few moments to allow people who need to leave. And for those who'd like to stay for the talk back, we'll begin the talk back in about 5 minutes. Thank you. All right, everyone. We're just about to get started. Okay. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate everyone taking a seat. And we're capturing people's attention as we prepare for the talk back. I want to congratulate the directors and the actors once again for a tremendous night. I say it every year at Playworks, but it's an act of tremendous generosity to give your attention, your energy, your voices, and your creativity to collectively birthing new work. And that's what we did tonight. So really thank you. I made a lot of thank yous, and before I introduce our responder, I just want to make one more thank you, and that is to our new playwriting professor, Megan Tabake. Thank you for guiding so many of these plays through to Playworks, and we know that next week everybody can come back for New Works Festival. And now it's my pleasure to invite my friend, my colleague, and our repeat attender of these events. Yesterday we weren't sure 8, 9, 10, but I think we came down to 9, that this is probably Aaron Henney's 9th time with us at Riverside. And we're very pleased to invite him back. A few words about Aaron. Aaron is a prolific writer. He is the artistic director of Theater Die Boek, a Los Angeles-based theater ensemble. He's been the co-literary manager at Theater at the Boston Court. He's worked with the Roby Theater Company. He's done workshops at Lucasfilms, Pixar, DreamWorks, and he's collaborated with arts programs at Georgetown University, the Wexman Center, and Otis College, to name just a few. And also is a much cherished responder at Playworks. Welcome, Eric.
It's great to be back, and really beautiful work, everybody. Thank you. For those who have not been through this process before, here's how it'll work. Basically, I'm gonna spend 5 or 6 minutes with each playwright. We're gonna have a little conversation. I'm gonna give a little feedback. Because of time, and we're a room full with people, we're not going to have like an open conversation that invites you, but I encourage you afterward to find your friend and maybe ask them first, are you open to feedback? And if they say yes, to by all means, but because of time, we're not going to do open room feedback, just so you know. And I want to say one other thing before we start, that for those who've maybe never been through a process like this before, as a playwright who's been through many readings myself, I can tell you, the point of a reading is that it's a step along the way. It's a way of hearing the play and understanding how it's operating. It is not an end point. It is a step in development. So that's part of the reason for these conversations, is to treat it as such, as a lab, as opposed to a final culmination. So thank you for being a part of that. I'm going to invite writers up one by one for the conversation. If you didn't know you were coming up, you're welcome. Enjoy. And I'll be gentle. And if I say your name incorrectly or anything, just please do correct me. All right. So first, I'd like to hear from the author of PG-13, Gabby Chavez. Thanks. Before we start, I always like to say congrats to the director and the actors. Thank you for all your good work, for allowing us to do the play. So I always start by asking, I think it's important to hear from you first. Tell us a little bit about where this started, what your inspiration was, or what you're thinking, however you want to share about it.
Yes, this came from very serious subject matter. Tumblr and Wattpad in 2013 was just part of my life and part of my inspiration for becoming a writer. Also, I think I really wanted to find out what it would look like to have an imaginary character on stage that feel like, how could I have a fun time with someone that not everyone can see on stage, but one character believes is fully there. So, yeah.
Nice. Thank you. So I really appreciated, I want to start by saying some of the things I really appreciated. One is that the understanding of kind of setting us in a situation, right? We begin with, I think it begins with something about like an acknowledgement of like, okay, she's gone or something along those lines, and then we're kind of thrust into the world of this interaction between these characters, this nice extreme romantic figure, right? We're watching them interact and then having to deal with the complication of mom and how do we navigate that, and that figure kind of supporting and echoing its own creator as a kind of reflection of their desires and who they want to be. So I thought the fact that, right, I got all that in a 10-minute piece is really nicely done. So good work on helping us hear that. Yeah. All right, that's it. No. We do have other things to talk about. So I wanna go to something. I was actually going to ask about this, and you said something that I want to follow up on, which was you talked about creating a world where a character is visible to one but not to another, is very real to somebody but not real to others, and also being related to the metaphor of creation and what we have and what's ours and what we're sharing.
That is way better than what I said.
So can you just share with me a little bit about the rules of that? I'm curious about what for you think kind of the rules are of how this imaginary figure works, what they can do, what they can't do, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so in my head, Claudio can only exist in the world of like Wattpad or in the world of fan fiction. Physically, he's not there and he cannot affect the world around him, but to the main character, Janet, she believes, or she has that kind of understanding, or like the mom can't really understand the true relationship that Janet and Claudio have. Yeah.
So great. I want to say that navigation you were just doing about like it's this and it's this, I think that if I were to do another iteration of this piece, I would encourage you to get even clearer on what those rules are, because those rules are where the drama and the comedy live. What can the character see that the other character can't see? What's the interaction that's totally invisible to somebody else but totally real to them? What are the rules about, in my mind, you're physically moving something, but you're not actually physically moving something? Because I think there was a moment, and sometimes in playing and a reading, it's hard to tell the intention. There was a moment of something dropping or fall, and I think Claudio throws something down or falls. Am I correct?
He stomps his foot.
Right, he stomps his foot, that's what it was. And in that moment, I was like, wait, mom seems to hear it, I think, and so I had a question about those realities, and as an audience member, if I'm starting to question those realities, it takes me a little out of what you want me to be enjoying, right? So I think for you, the clearer you can get on those rules and really show us those rules, the more the drama and the more the comedy is going to be present. The other thing that I would recommend if you were to go into this piece again, or do a longer version of it, is consider helping us see the act of creation. And what I mean by that is that we are watching a world being created. We're watching a character, right? When we create, we rewrite, we iterate, we make things better. We make that romantic figure, we go, what if they said it this way? It'd be even more romantic, right? At least that's how I write in my romance that I create. So I'm pointing this out because you set up a really fun scenario, and I think right now you have a limited palette of what you're doing with that scenario, and imagine all the things you can do with that scenario that can actually make the romance higher, make the comedy higher, make the struggles around it better. You know, because you talked about your own relationship to writing, I think, that what is it to create and then have to create again? What is it to find the joy in it becoming even more romantic, even bigger, right? And so I just want to encourage you to take the situation you've created and find all its possibilities. And even in a 10-minute piece, it actually wouldn't take a lot more to do it. I'm talking a couple lines. I'm talking a few things that turn up the dials so that everything you're trying to accomplish is clearer. Also, so then we understand that that protagonist is a creator, which is kind of, I think, what you're getting at. How important this is for her to create and make something. And let us see that a little bit more, and I think it'll be even stronger. Talk to me. Questions, thoughts?
So I'm getting from what you're saying is like an escalation, even more escalation into our world would help just to flesh it out, and then also kind of add more, I guess, stakes and vibrancy.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I always say this is good news. When I say to somebody like, hey, write a little bit more, you know, that's good because you get to discover the possibilities, and it means there's something there that's working that just needs to be unpacked even more. And then you can strip away. You can look at it and go, you know, I put 7 things in, I'm going to cut out 3 of them, but those 4 others really turn up the volume. Yeah? Yeah. Great work.
Yay.
Thank you. Great, thank you. Glowup, Melizza Minger Urquilla, am I correct? Great work, and again, congrats to the director and the team and the cast. Nicely done. Thank you for helping us steer the play. Tell us a little bit what you were thinking, your inspiration, however you want to frame it.
Yeah, a year ago I made this awful mistake and I joined a CrossFit gym. And it was like a 1-week trial basis, and they were like, okay, go like run a lap, and I like took 2 steps out, and I saw someone, and without like conscious input from my brain, my body just like turned me around and walked me back into the gym. And once I was there, I was like, oh, that was so weird. Like, what a weird moment where the body was like, no, thank you. And I just wanted to put that moment into like circumstances that what world comes from that and how ridiculous can that get.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. I really appreciated first of all, just the clarity of the setup, right? When we have a 10-minute play, 2 people on stage, they're working out. We understand even down to how they're clothed, what their relationship is, and how long they've been engaging with it, where it is in their life, right? There's sort of a quickness of storytelling that you accomplish just by that, right? What the power dynamic is, who kind of is sort of knows their stuff, and who's learning, and all of that. I appreciated the, again, efficiency of storytelling with like count to whatever, 5, 20, you know, that however you did it, that allows us to understand where this lives for somebody. And then the kind of setup and payoff with the X coming in, which spirals very quickly. So again, in a 10-minute play, a pretty big trajectory, right? We understand why the person's there, we watch them encounter the ultimate complication, and then that complication spins again. So, good work.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'd love to ask, when the X, I want to go there for a moment. When the X says, you know, oh, I've lost my, you know, my love. I went through this breakup. I want to get that person back. Why is that X telling his ex that? Like, what's the purpose in that moment, from the X's perspective?
I'd love to say like, well, it moves the plot along, but so this is one of those moments that I think a great cast carried me through because they had a great story for it, and I was like, oh good, because I didn't have a good answer. Your answer is fantastic, which is in rehearsals we came up with that there, even though she's still like longing for this romantic connection, he's like, you know, this is my friend. Like we have this good connection. It's been a while, and I want to share this with my friend. I'm missing my friend. Which I thought played well. There's certainly parts of the script that I was like, should I fix this? And then my actors were so good that I was like, it's fine.
Okay, yeah. I appreciate the transparency. That's great. First of all, I want to say for any writers in the room, this is a great answer. Because sometimes I ask about character motivation, and you can feel the person's like, this is why? Is that what you're looking for? And I'm like, no, I don't, you know. So I want to say, actually, the transparency of like, I'm not sure, we found a reason in the room, but it's not quite on the page, but we found a reason, is a great, honest answer, and this is how our writing gets stronger. So I think that one thing, based on that answer, I think one thing I would encourage is, I think it's really important to be clear as a writer. It doesn't have to be in the first version, but by the time you're getting to reading performance, to be like, why is the person saying this? Not why am I as the writer doing this for a plot reason, but why is the character saying this? Because I could feel the actors pulled us through, but the reason I asked you the question was I was not sure. And I was doubting, therefore, the reality a little bit, because I was like, oh, this is to get us somewhere, but I'm not sure based on what we've heard. And it doesn't take much, right? It can be somebody saying, like, you don't have to do my version of it, please. But like, it can be, you know, the thing of like, I'm always friends with my exes and I rely on them for advice. You know, like whatever, I'm making something totally silly up and you'd come up with your own. But we need help to kind of understand it so that we're not questioning the purpose and the reason, right? And so that's number one. Two, my other big note was about, I asked the question, what is the reality we're in? Because you kind of present us with a pretty familiar reality, right? To people in a gym, it doesn't feel that heightened. They're actually speaking in ways that feel very familiar. And then you give us that ending, right? Right? I won! And it gets a big laugh, understandably. But I will offer that I would encourage you to think about the reality you've set up. You've not quite put us in an absurdist world. So when that comes, for me, I wondered what world we're in. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make, do you have questions about that?
No, I totally get what you're saying. Part of me wants to counter with like, well, you just murdered him and that happens sometimes. But no,
Yeah.
I totally get what you're saying, that to get the audience to buy in by the end, we have to, you know, teach them how to read the play from the first page.
Yes, that's it. And I think, and this is sometimes about style, there is an ending where that works, and those tend to be, and I don't mean this in a pejorative way, so please understand, those tend to be sort of sketches rather than plays, right? That kind of flip at the end tends to live in the world of sort of comedy sketch, and that is a style, but it's just for you to know that that sort of, often a play will give us a little bit more of a trajectory toward that ending, or put us in a world where that ending kind of makes sense. Or you can make a choice to say, no, I'm existing in a different style and I'm doing a different form. So it's just something to think about in your work of where it's living, so you can set us up for what you want to accomplish in the piece. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Great work.
Thank you.
Yeah, nicely done. The packages, Maya Salem. Hi. How are you? Nice to meet you too. And again, congrats to the director and the performers. Thank you so much. I'm predictable. Tell us your inspiration or what you were exploring or however you want to talk about it.
Well, to be honest, I wrote this in January and I was waiting for the second season of Severance to come out.
Me too.
I was just really curious what these characters were going to do because we don't know too much about their outside lives. And I was thinking about Mark and Miss Quabell being neighbors. And the inherent danger that we know of that as an audience. How that directly translates into what I wrote, I'm not sure. But I do think that I was interested in how we trust another person based on their perceived age, and when you put yourself out there to help somebody out, there's you think that you're building trust.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I see that. So along those lines, I will say that I really, I got that sense in the piece, right? Of you give us this setup very quickly of the UPS driver and, oh, will you get this for me? And an immediate attempt to what we think is Bond from the figure upstairs. And then you give us this sense of even down to the lightly antagonistic, I'm saying no, oh, you learned how to say no, but there's also a kind of then partnership that's developing, right? Because there's becoming an ease, there's a little bit more of, oh, come on in, okay. I think that your sense of how does this happen and what does it mean between people and what are the real motivations underneath was very clear. And also you were really clearly as a writer thinking about setups and payoffs, right? You give us you start with that UPS driver, and that is a plot thread you then pull at the end very quickly so that we understand what you set us up and how it's playing out very quickly. So good work on all that. One of the things I said this last night for anyone who was here. Theater is about compression. It's really about like how do you tell a story in a compressed way. Life takes this long in a play you have this long, and then a 10-minute play you have this long. So to compress that storytelling is really nicely done. So I have a couple questions which may help me offer a piece of feedback or two. Talk to me about the time passage in the piece. Because we're in a reading, I just want to make sure I understood that there's time passage, right? Like we're witnessing a variety of events that happen over 3-ish weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
about. The initial draft was written for a class, and I didn't have any, boundaries, I guess, on what I was doing. But I changed it a bit for this reading so that there was like a little bit more in between scenes, and the like demarcation of time happened through like lighting cues, to be honest. But about 3 weeks. That's what's mentioned in the dialogue.
Cool. I want to make sure I understood too, because again, hearing things the first time. So at the end, what the older character reveals is like, I kind of know you're isolated and alone, right? Do you remind me? Do you set that up at the beginning?
The woman downstairs mentions that her parents are hermits and
right.
don't know if they're
And that was
alive.
that repeated beat.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that the seed was planted. So
Yes.
okay, great. So there's a couple things I would consider. First is I'm going to go to the time passage thing.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the use of theatrical space. Lights up, lights down, sound change. We understand we're in a different spot, and the change in relationship. I think whatever you can give us to help us that, even in stage direction and other things, because I was like, I think that's what's going on, but I'm having to work a little bit. This is partially just readings and partially full production, but just I wanted to say it to make sure that it's kind of there.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this brief opening monologue. I call it a monologue, but it's actually pretty brief, where the person downstairs is asked about, it's in that moment, about your history, right? And I, as an audience member, was like wondering, I could feel you as a writer trying to balance getting this information out, but also the character needing to be like, oh wait, I have to get your package. Hey, I'm not here to talk.
Yeah.
I would encourage you to lean into that instinct further. How many interruptions can you fit in one 2-minute sequence? Because I think what you were setting up was some comedy of like, I'm here just to tell you there's a package and there's a delivery, and you're like inviting me in and encouraging me to have Diet Coke and want to hear my life story, right? And we then learn later there's all sorts of motivations going on. In general, especially in comedy, as much as you can repeat and push, that comedy and that tension goes up. So the harder I'm trying to get out of here and the harder you're trying to keep me, that's where that lives. I could feel the sort of base layer of that, and so therefore I thought, what if you do that 2, 3, 4 more times? Does that, before I give you one other thought, does that make sense? Any questions about that?
No, that's a great note, actually. I like that.
Okay. I'm just looking at my notes here. This is my looking at my note dance. Thank you. I was wondering about the very end. Talk to me. I'm going to ask it as an open question, and then I'll give you my thoughts. Talk to me about the end in terms of where the person I consider the protagonist, the person downstairs, where do they land with being confronted in this way with this person? Do you feel like they're going to be, where do you think they're headed? What do you think is going to happen here?
I don't entirely know, but I do think that she's a pretty polite and non-confrontational person. Like, she struggled through confronting this thief. And so part of me thinks that she kind of submits to the situation, but she does fully have autonomy because she is an able-bodied young person. So it is kind of open-ended, yeah.
What I will share with you is I don't mind open-ended endings, and I often want a sense that the writer knows what that ending is going to be, even if they don't give it to me because they want me to kind of leave it. And I would encourage you as a writer to give yourself the freedom. I often do this as a writer. I write 2 or 3 versions of the ending to find out what I'm really trying to get at. And I would encourage you to experiment with clarity on, does this person fully find their voice and actually push back? Do they give in to their people-pleasing instincts and not push back? Do they, because I could feel that the play wasn't sure what this interaction was fully about, and so I'm going to encourage you as a writer to play it out to the end and find out what the interaction is about, even if you don't keep it, because that will make what leads into that final moment more clear, and you'll watch that protagonist struggling with how to respond. Yeah?
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, that was really lovely, actually. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, good work. Thank you. Great. And I want to, I say this every year and every night a few times. Again, thank you to the writers, because it can be sort of shocking to the system of like, I just, first time hearing this play out loud with an audience, and now this stranger is going to give me notes in front of me. So thank you for your generosity. All right, spooning. Artur Muller Pereira. Hi. Nice to meet you. Yeah. All right. Artur? Yes. Great. Artur. Please tell us a little bit, and congrats again to the director and team. Thank you for your good work and letting us hear the play. Please.
Okay. I think a better writer would say something about male loneliness and the approach of human connection. Yeah. But this play actually came to me with Megan. Megan gave us an exercise, and one of the parameters for the exercise was to explore the idea of vision. And it's very easy to remove an eye with a spoon. So that was the only thing that came to my mind. And then from that, it was just the pun of it. And I was like, how long can I draw this pun out for? And that was the whole concept of the play.
Okay, thank you so much. Now I'm deeply curious about your knowledge of eye spooning, but that's for another time. Let me offer a few things that I think were clear and working. I think one, you had a nice patience in the piece of kind of really not giving too much away. Often a piece like this either gives away not enough at all or gives away too much, right? Where we see it coming a mile away, or when we track back, it's very hard to see the hints of what was going on. And this piece actually, I thought you did a skillful job of kind of, if one knew that's where we were ending, one would be able to spot all the clues, right? And that's the key. We as audiences can feel cheated if somebody gives us an end like that and those clues have not been there, even if consciously we aren't aware of it. So nicely done. And also just the simplicity of like 2 people in a space and somebody showing up at the door. A service has been booked, and now we're going to navigate the dynamics that go with dealing with a service having been booked and the different expectations around that service. And I have to say, like, for anyone new to playwriting, like, this is a classic setup, not the exact parameters, but 2 characters having a misunderstanding, coming at it with different wants and needs, and kind of meeting in the space between, and how does that play out, right? So very clear. So good work. And there is stuff about male loneliness and such in there, so I appreciate that. I want to ask kind of an open question. What kind of, talk to me about the world we're in. Is this a world where this, and are we in our world? Are we in a totally invented world? Are we in a world that's somewhere in the middle? Like, I just want to hear you talk about that for a minute, because it ties into my one major kind of note and question.
Yes, so spooning, the actual spooning, like romantic spooning, is an actual job You can work as a spooner. You can also work as a paint watcher. That's an actual job.
See how long it takes to dry?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the job.
Okay.
So I was setting it in the real world. Everything is real, except for this one thing where spooning is also the removal of the eye.
Okay.
But it is grounded in
yeah,
actual stuff. Yeah.
So I would look at that, and I'll tell you why. I made a note. I wrote Wes Anderson, and I'll tell you why. Right? That Wes Anderson creates a world, and everyone's in that same world. So even though there can be a kind of deadpan thing, or there can be misunderstandings, those misunderstandings happen within everyone operating within a very similar rule. And here, what you've given us is a world where somebody books somebody to spoon them. And in our world, if there was a person going around scooping out people's eyes, they probably wouldn't be operating a website and taking reviews and continue to be able to operate, I think, generationally, right? Yeah. And I'm only pointing this out because what happens is that some people really enjoy the twist, but for others, it can create a major kind of like, wait, but what world are we in? You know, because I start to question what I know, because it's not like at the end the guy was, it turns out they both knew what they were talking about. That's a whole different play, right? And the surprise then is on us as the audience. Oh, they both knew what this was. So I think just to look at that. Think about the works that may be inspiring you and how they navigate, how they create a world that we can buy all the elements of it, rather than different worlds that are sort of in competition, right? Because then I start looking for consequences. So I would look at that. And then my only other note is going along the lines of misunderstandings. I'm going to give a similar note I've given to others. I would write the version where you find out what are the how far can those misunderstandings go? You took them pretty far, but I would encourage you, like, how far physically can they go? How far, meaning, are there embraces that then get, right? Like, I'm giving examples, but because you're living in this world of heightened comedy, I always think, what happens if you just go 10 or 20% more? What else is accomplished? Because then those misunderstandings become greater, the comedy becomes greater, and then the horror becomes greater as well, right? Yeah. So those are my only kind of thoughts about how to navigate the space. I thought setup and payoff were clear. It's just kind of these world questions, and then just thinking about how to spin even faster, right? Any thoughts or questions?
No, the one thing you just said, one of the ideas that I had forward with this play was to actually write the full hour that they spend together before the play. And I wanted to see how far I could take the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably maybe a possibility.
Yeah. I would encourage you to do that and find out what's there. And even if you decide, what'll happen is even if you decide that it's still a 10 to 15 minute play, you've got a whole world of options that you may not have otherwise thought of. So I think that's enjoy. Thank you. Good work. Good work. All right, friends. Honeymorg. Emma Winiarski. Hi. How are you? Good. Nice to meet you. Again, congrats to the director and the team. Thank you for helping us hear the play. Tell us a little bit.
Sure. I typically tend to write about like domestic life and fraught relationships, and I was starting to think like what could be the worst possible honeymoon ever. And then I remembered that I went to space camp as a child, and I had an instructor who gave us his real name but then referred to himself as Hot Dog. I just kind of wanted to delve more into the mind of a person like that and this fictional story for them. Yeah. So I thought to put them together.
Okay, nice. Thanks. I really, again, I want to talk about setups. I think to a person, for the most part, for these 10 to 15 minute pieces, you really understood how to kind of give us classic theatrical structures that allow us to have an experience quickly, right? We have We have a single setting, contained setting, 3 figures triangulating, one who we sort of think might be kind of comic relief until we come to understand there isn't, that we think is actually just undergirding a kind of domestic dispute drama, and then the twist of it is we find out that actually the real drama that's going on is about a kind of secret killing that's happening, right? And so I thought that structurally was really interesting, and also spoke to just contained space. Theater existing in a contained space is a really good way to explore relationship dynamics, and also to think about tension, because there's nowhere to go. I mean, quite literally we have it. You can't open the window. We're in a tight space that was meant for children, I think. Yeah, so good work. Talk to me about, I want to make sure I understood how much of this is, like, talk to me about hot dog for a minute. Like, how much is planned? How much is anyone else in on it? We know there's hamburger, on the phone. How much is happening in the moment? Just talk to me about the plan a little bit.
Yeah, that's something I'm still kind of wondering, or I was trying to track the logic or the believability of this kind of thing. But I kind of envision him just as this kind of like shady guy who his true passion is the morgue, but he maybe jumps gig to gig, starts these weird small businesses for people to get involved with. But I'm not sure how much of that comes into the play or is known to the audience about him. But that's kind of who I envisioned him as.
Are you more interested, I'm going to ask you what are you interested in as a writer? Are you more interested in the sort of, not that these can't both exist, it's just are you more interested in the sort of hot dog aspect, sounds funny, or the kind of power dynamic of what's going on in the relationship? Or, like, talk to me about where your interests lie.
I really enjoy the relationship or creating like awkwardness between them, but I do like the absurdity, I think, of this over-the-top kind of character. But I tend to gravitate more towards the relationship, I think.
Okay. So, in that case, I have 2 thoughts. First is, if you were to do a rewrite of this, I would look at then asking the question, how is this scenario all about the relationship? In other words, the reveal at the end is kind of an icing on the cake if you're going that direction, but really the inability to open the window, this other figure is kind of weird and is, getting in the way, the conflict of we're in a strip mall, I wanted to go to Fiji, right? It's all there. But I wonder what would happen if you as a writer turned your focus solely there and said everything that's happening is about turning up the tension and the conflict between these 2 figures. What other moments would come? What other possibilities would come? And then when the death happens, it really feels like an unexpected culmination of them spinning, as opposed to a kind of thing that happens external to them. Like, part of often the way metaphor works in theater, right, is that these external forces are often merely kind of catalysts for what's going on between the characters. So whatever conflict they were having, what if it got bigger, more intense, angrier, more serious, deeper, and then the death happens, right? Because then you're really talking about the thing you want to talk about, right? And everything's about that. So that's 1. 2, I would look, I said in the first person I spoke to about rules, I would really recommend, when I asked you, like, what is this? And you were like, I'm not quite sure, I'm still figuring it out, and I could feel that a little. And I think that if you know exactly what the plot is of that hot dog and hamburger are doing, we'll feel it as an audience and we'll see the machinations. Because there was one point where I was wondering about the ruse, like, oh, how long does this poison or whatever it is take to work? Like, what's the asphyxiation, right? And I started wondering, like, what's the plan? And you kind of don't want me wondering what the plan is, right? And so I think this is just a thing to think about when you're writing, is you as the writer having clarity on what the complications are and what the plans are will show up in the play in both subtle and overt ways. And just to leave you with, as I said though, keep your focus on that thing you really want to talk about and make sure everything's in service of that thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, that helps, yeah.
Any
Thank
questions?
You. I think that's it, but thank you.
Okay, good work. Thank you. Cool. Quotas, Benjamin Austin. Good to see you. Good to see you. And congrats again to the director and the team. Thank you. We definitely experienced the piece. Talk to us.
Yeah, sure. So I feel like two things kind of inspired the piece. Obviously, one is just my own experiences and my friends' experiences, having gone through university the past 2-ish years. But then the other thing that also impacted was I wasn't going to submit this, and then I saw a funeral for the Bebop babies, and I didn't see it on the news, I didn't see it anywhere. And I kind of felt really alone, and so I thought that maybe this is a way that I could show how there is still that feeling of loneliness out there.
Yeah. Thanks. I was thinking about the structure as I was watching it of like these repeated moments throughout history, and where we sort of get to witness repeated things, but also things that do have a growth. And I thought that was really skillfully done, where you kind of planted us in this absurd world, but not so absurd.
Thank you.
Right? Of the shit shoveler, but we also heard the pain and the reality in it, and then you skipped us forward generations, and then you skipped us forward generations, and you were also, I could really hear the writing navigating the way in which messaging and communication changes over time. It gets less direct as it goes on, until it doesn't, until it becomes more direct, right? Like, I could feel that, and again, the reminder of theater, of like two people sitting across from each other, change in light, and we are somewhere else and experiencing something else, but we're also in exactly the same space, right? And I thought there was a real understanding of theatrical language, so nicely done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's talk about style for a moment. I want to, because I want to understand something, because these were my kind of one or two thoughts are connected to that. So just talk to me for a moment about what you're stylistically interested in, what you were thinking about the style of how this is played. Does it live in a kind of absurd world? Does it shift? I just want to hear you talk about it for a moment.
Yeah, so I guess it is a world of absurdity, but that's only usually realized about halfway through the scene. That every time that, whether it's Isaac, Zach, every time he goes into that scene, he's going in kind of as a straight man, hoping that this is the time that it works out. And about halfway through, he realizes these aren't really real rules. This is kind of a game of people. So there's that shift.
Great. And I'm going to ask the question I don't normally ask, but I think it's an important one here. Where are you hoping to leave people?
I wrote the last lines of the play as the first things I wrote, which is I'm not an anti-Semite, I'm an anti-Zionist. Because I think that for most other groups of people, you wouldn't let the person who's accused of anti-Semitism argue that they're not an anti-Semite. But for some reason, there is this allowance that they can kind of try and argue that gray area. And I wanted that line to be the final line of the play. Yeah.
So, like I said, I think so much is working. And so I just have some thoughts about alternatives to explore. First, you said something in your response about how the absurdity kind of comes in midway through the scene. And this is where I might say, consider thinking about style shifts. And what I mean is that my experience as someone watching is actually that it kind of begins in what seems like an absurd place and gets more and more real.
Okay.
And there's something you just said that can be a key to kind of theatrical language, which is if this is being played as a straight scene, but then midway through the absurdity is revealed and something shifts stylistically, then form is matching function, right? That then what you are doing is you are saying, this is so absurd that we are going to shift our experience of this sequence. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just offering that there's something in what you said that if your goal was for us to see the absurdity, you have to deal with that as a writer and let us know that. Because
on the one hand, I as an audience member appreciated the kind of people are speaking very plainly at certain points in scenes, like in ways that were like, oh, that's very plain, right? And on the one hand, I appreciated that. On the other hand, I wondered about the style. Because I wondered if what you wanted was it actually to feel that, like that plain spokenness is so heightened that it strikes us because it's almost it's so comic and ridiculous. Okay. And I'm going to encourage you in a rewrite to find out what that does, to lean in there, right? That makes sense. Okay. So that's one thought. The other is this is purely a writing exercise because I actually think so much is working, but this is a writing exercise for everyone. I would encourage you to think about what happens if you write each scene in a different style, in an overt way, because there are models. I was thinking in scene 1 about kind of the history of absurdism, and then in scene 2 I was thinking about like Pinter and a lot of pauses and silences, and then in scene 3 I landed somewhere else. And I think that for you as a writer, kind of finding your voice and your style, you can borrow from these models as a way to think about how you make what you're doing even more precise, because it actually might help you understand what the main communications are in the sequence.
That's exactly what happened, was like I kind of read the play, I'd been reading a little bit of plays, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, I really like I think Mamet would be cool here, I think Pinter really is applicable, and I kind of had these thoughts where I'm like, oh, I wish I'd read all of that before I wrote this.
Yeah.
Because
then it's totally steal. Everyone steal. It's great. You should do it. Because these are our teachers, the whole variety of them from a variety of experiences and walks of life. And I think that because you're trying this repeated thing also, so that also we stay with you and have theatrical surprise. We have both thematic surprise and theatrical surprise, and I think we need a little bit more theatrical surprise in the thematic surprise mix.
That makes sense.
Okay. Oh, good work.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
No, that was good. Okay.
So, for the last play, Bill, the playwright is not able to be with us tonight, so I'm going to offer very short feedback because, as you can see, my mode is really to be curious about what the writer's up to, so I really try to avoid just giving notes because I want to make sure they're in dialogue with the writer's intention. So please know that these are given in the spirit of impressions and take what you will. First,